You have decided to come to BOHEMA. Now you will be judged harshly. You'll be judged based on your actions, on your fencing. You'll be fencing for 2 minutes of clean time in advanced and for 3 minutes of dirty time everywhere else. You'll be fencing up until 10 points. If you decide to smack your opponent with the sword, you're going to need to do it with the appropriate force, with the appropriate part of the blade, and with an appropriate arch. What does that mean? If you strike an opponent, you cannot do it with the very tip. So about the last centimeter of your sword will not be counted if you just touch your opponent with it. Then you have to do it with appropriate force. If you want to know what that means, you can go check our judging video, which is going to be either here or down below somewhere. I don't know. Then you're going to have to maintain proper edge alignment. What does that mean? Well, if you strike the opponent, the edge needs to be aligned with the direction of your strike at the moment of impact. If your sword rolls after that, so be it. Then you also must show a clean intention. A clean intention means you're not striking when moving back scared and your sword just jerks up. You also need to demonstrate an appropriate arch, which needs to be at least 30 degrees for it to be counted. When you smack your opponent with sufficient quality, you're going to do it in different zones. You either strike them in the arms, defined from the shoulder down, or to the legs, from the pelvis down. If you strike them there, you get 1 point. Then, if you strike them to the head or to the torso, you get 2 points. If you strike them into the border region, somewhere around the shoulder or around the pelvis, you will also get 1 point. If you decide to poke your opponent with the tip of your sword, you're going to thrust them. You can thrust them in the torso, head, arms, or legs, just as you would with the strike, with the same point distribution. When you thrust them, you need to have your sword bend or your opponent move backwards. A mask, especially the front, is designed to deflect strikes so they do not stick to it. If the mask does not move back, or the fencer doesn't move back when you perform the thrust, it would be judged as a glancing blow with insufficient quality. Any thrust that gets stuck in your opponent's protectors will automatically be counted as a successful hit. Next up, we have the slice. A slice is defined as the dragging of your blade against the opponent's body. You can slice anywhere on the body, much like with the strike and the thrust. If you want to perform a successful slice, you will have to do so with appropriate force and with the edge. If you are not performing it with sufficient pressure against the opponent, or if your sword rolls on the opponent and the slice is then performed with the flat of the blade, the slice will not be counted as quality. Next, we have domination. If you dominate your opponent, you prevent them from being able to strike you back. Therefore, domination is the only action that does not allow for an afterblow. If you dominate your opponent, you have either placed them on the ground, simulated a throw by lifting the opponent off the ground, you have taken their weapon, or you have achieved domination through a pommel strike or one-handed strike whilst preventing your opponent from moving their sword. Next is the pommel strike. The pommel is the thing that is opposite to the point of your sword. If you strike the opponent with your pommel, you're going to be striking them to the front or top of the mask. Do not strike your opponent to the sides or to the back of the mask. That is not allowed. If you strike your opponent with the pommel without controlling their weapon, you will receive 1 point. If you strike your opponent whilst maintaining dominance over them, you will receive 2 points. One-handed actions, no matter the zone they hit, are going to be awarded 1 single point, with the exception of dominance. If you are dominating your opponent and perform a clean thrust on them with one hand or a clean strike on them with one hand, you will receive 2 points for that action. All strikes done with one hand will need to have the same quality S strikes done with 2 hands. Ring outs. If you decide that you no longer want your opponent to occupy the same space as you. If you help them a little bit, that's fine. If they ring themselves out, or if you help them, you receive 1 point. Please don't use excessive force. Afterblow. Afterblow is a scoring action that has started during or immediately after your opponent has performed a scoring action of their own, with the exception of domination. Within the BOHEMA rule set, an afterblow will not award you points, it will only deduct a single point from whatever points your opponent has received with their previous action. 1, 2, 3, pop.
It was double.
It was double. Miss. Straight back. Good.